So here's what I heard about Ravens. Here's Ben J insight. I heard there's some shit going on with the parent company. Okay. I think there's a lot of interest in that spot, right? You probably saw the SSG stuff like a month ago, right? SSG is trying to maybe
I'm
get that
all
spot.
for any team that's going to come in. SSG proves they like hosting events. They look like an org that's going to care. We need to get these orgs that don't care out of the league. And I do
agree.
want to say, to play devil's advocate, I do think some of these orgs were a bit deceived in what they were pitched and what they were expecting. So I don't want to be like, wow, this org is like... Because all these orgs started off good, you know what I mean? And then things happened and they went to minimum salaries. At the very least, they were competitive. Bro, this Royal Ravens team got robbed, man. They were paying Scraps and Wuskin and all these guys crazy money.
Oh, they got robbed because they were the ones offering that price and being morons. Okay, so they were... So hold on, let me understand this. So Ravens, who were one of the biggest inflator of market prices in the first few years of the COD, they got robbed, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, you're more. I love you, Zin, but like they were part. Listen, realistically, that org was never ran that great. They chased UK talent and paid above market price that didn't need to get those players. And
yeah, but they didn't set the market
market
price though. Like they didn't. I don't think like it's not like Royal Ravens were the ones that spiked.
Hold on, but they didn't have to offer Maddie this. They didn't have to offer May the crazy second-year money that they did.
No, I agree with that.
They didn't offer Wusk that money either.
I agree with that, but the landscape was different then, Ben. Like, all these orgs were... I don't know like the proper word, but, like, it was at least... Like, back then, it was not insane. Like, right? Like, let me say it like this. If Scraps and Wuskin and all those guys got paid their Royal Ravens salary in today's league, everyone would be like, yo, what the fuck's going on? Back then... It was kind of normal. Like all these teams were paying very, very top dollar. And I'm not saying they got like robbed where it's like I feel bad for them, but it's a mixture of both because I do think a lot of orgs were pitched something that didn't end up actually being true. You get what I'm saying?
Zin, here's the thing. I hear what you're saying. I don't feel bad for any one of these owners. No one put a gun to their fucking head.
Oh, I don't feel bad for them. No, I don't feel bad for them.
And said, you have to agree to join this league. They saw the pitch like any other venture capitalist or investment opportunity, and it's on their end in a capitalist society, in a capitalist market that we have, to do their due diligence and understand the biggest problem in esports, which Mark Cuban has talked about at length. When you are one of these team owners or one of these team entities, you don't own the intellectual property for the game that you're playing on. You're just at best, a marketing end of the publisher.
Yes,
and you have to evaluate that's good for your business.
Yes, but okay. Operating and running a team is a bit more unique though, because usually if you're a venture capitalist, you understand the risk. You lose your money, you move on to the next thing. The thing about the league is now the people paying the price are the players and the staff members, right? It's not as easy as, oh, okay, on to the next investment, because now you have this team that needs to be ran in a functioning league.
Yeah, that sounds like an investment in a burn rate. It's like when you start a startup company, you have to pay salary for people. You have to pay real estate for your office. You have to pay vendors. Like
yeah, now like I think they've given up. I think some teams have now given up on that investment and they want out.
Bro, it's pretty straightforward. I think what happened with the CDL and the OWL, like the very simple way to put it, is that Bobby and his friends, his billionaire friends, saw an opportunity with the upside of esports. Bobby was, like someone that, let's say like 2016, 2015, really, I think saw a potential upside in esports, right? Maybe Mike and Sonny would probably be the best people to talk about because they were involved in a lot of those like really, really early combos. Maybe I get Mike and Sonny on a flank and they could talk about it, or Adam. But like, Bobby saw that opportunity, and he has obviously a very rich guy, has a lot of rich friends. And at the time, prior to COVID, listen, you could take these VC risks because corporate debt could be restructured, and there wasn't like your exit cost of an investment wasn't as bad as it is now, right? And so they were willing to take the risk upside because a 10 or 100x or 1,000x opportunity was there down the line. The problem is COVID happened. The league wasn't ran that great. And so, things pivoted. But like, I don't say you feel bad for Carolina or London.
That was maybe wrong wording.
Yeah. Like, I hear what you're saying. I just think anyone that's willingly choose to sign up for the league and it doesn't work out, that's on them. It's an investment opportunity.
Yes, I agree with that. But what I'm saying now is the teams that have given up on their investment, the player, like it's now the team and the players and the coaches and the managers that deal with the sour side of that, is what I'm saying now.
Yeah, I mean,
like Ben, in a traditional world, these billionaires, they get pitched on so many things. They put $5 million into this. If it works, hell yeah. If it doesn't, they're on to the next. It's not as cut and dry with operating and running a team.
Like Elon, like there were crazy people that were pitched on the CDL. Like I know Elon was pitched on the CDL at one point.
That'd be crazy.
They did the normal like the run in, and I also hear you on the fact that like costs change. And I'll be honest, everything I've ever heard about Ravens from anyone that played there or worked there, never said that management really understood the esports business or what they were doing. That's the thing I always appreciate about someone like a Hector. I think Hector sees the board very well. I think he understands the business well. I think he understands the sponsor and partnership landscape. I think he understands the players. I think he understands the publisher. And so like the big business decisions, I think he navigates well. Like a lot of these entities came in and they've just never gotten it. And the problem with that Ravens entity is it changed hands about 2 times. It's been the CDL.
Well,
and
all
the
these
current
orgs,
company,
I mean, all of their business models were spend as much money as possible, and there was like no thought of return. It was all like spend, salary, marketing firms, everything. Like, and at a certain point, like you're only going to get so much money from incoming sponsors. Like, at some point, you're just burning gas.
But I think what happened is that, okay, I'll say what I think a lot of like someone like Robert Kraft was thinking. I think he was talking to someone like Bobby, and Bobby said, look, we can really blow this thing up. It's a private market, not a public market for these franchise spots. So if there's additional outside interest, we set the market price as an entity, and we can basically 10x or 100x your investment. And for someone like Bob Kraft that's worth a couple billion, if he's spending $2 or $3 million a year in a burn rate, it's really nothing. That's a cup of coffee to him, essentially. So it's like, I think those guys are willing to take the risk. And then obviously things didn't work out and a lot of them got out. And the ones that are left, you have a lot of endemics, right? You got Nadeshot endemic, you've got Hector and his group endemic. Paul Hamilton's not necessarily endemic, but he is kind of ish now, but he's partnering with Faze, they're endemic. Like the people left are either really, really like have been there since the beginning for the most part in COD, or the people that like care passionately about the thing, But I don't feel bad for Carolina, and I agree with you, Zen. Like whoever comes in, if it's SSG, for example, like they're gonna try. You need someone who's gonna try. I hope it's SSG. They're gonna actually like give it a go,
Yeah, I mean SSG. I mean, at least if they're anything near what they do in Halo, they want to host events. They're trying to build a fan base. Like I just want orgs that care and try, and that's the unfortunate part of franchising, is it just exposed a lot of the thoughts that people have. They thought they were going to come in, make a bunch of money, and sell or operate whatever, and then they all lost money, and now they're all trying to sell or get rid of the team. Like they just all gave up. Or a lot of these teams gave up. NYSL is out. Carolina's obviously in a rough spot. Paris Legion is out.
Well, let's count through. Paris, I'm gonna say
Rocker's out.
It's about Paris.
Rocker being out. Hold on, real quick. Rocker being out tells you all you need to know, because I think that organization cared so much, and they were doing everything they possibly could to properly grow the team. They were having local fan meets and activations. They were trying to host events. Like Rocker, in my opinion, is like proof that something disastrous happened, because they cared more than a lot of these teams, and they had to sell.
The Rocker situation is a little more complex. So let's go situation by situation on the people that have actually exited.
Real quick, Rocker out, guys. I mean, like G2 is now Rocker.
They're a silent partner in G2 now. They're still in esports, but they're not actively on it. Like the Wolf family's on the actual front foot.
Like the original Rocker are not operating anymore.
I don't think Brett's involved anymore in esports, for example. Let's talk about the people that got out. Okay, Vegas. Listen, I will say this very early on. I was in the interview process to be the general manager of Paris Legion. And that was probably one of the worst interviews I've ever done in my entire life.
Welcome back for 29. Let's go.
I did it with the McCord family, and they had no idea what they were getting into. And the idea of what they wanted to do with the squad, they were completely lost. And they subsequently decided year one that this wasn't for them, and they just super tightened the belt. So fuck them. I'm glad they're out, because they never really had a great idea on what they wanted to do with that business to begin with.
Yeah.
The Rocker one is a little bit sad because I really liked every time I ever worked with the Rocker entity group. I always thought that they had a really good eye and a really good nose for what is best for COD. Like they were always on the right side of every league issue as far as what I think the fans and what the players want.
Yeah.
I think though the Wilf family actually found a better investment for them long term because they have, I think, have equity in G2. They still own that spot. I think they have like a complex operating agreement with G2 on that spot. They're still in, but they're a silent partner now. So like they'll get the upside later on in the business, but they've like protected their downside on the investment.
Yeah.
NRG is an interesting one, but from my understanding, and this maybe a Hector thing, I from what I understand, that was an arranged marriage. And like you know what I'm saying, like for obvious reasons that have been very much discussed, that didn't work out, and so NRG got out. The old Opt OGLA people, glad they got out because those have been.
Who was that? That was Immortals, right? Yo, is Immortals still an org?
I think they're around, but everybody I know in esports has never. I've had dealings with Immortals, and I'll just say like I've never been a big fan of what's going on over there. They were a big.
Let's go, Jacob. Appreciate the gifted, bro.
Like expanding too fast into esports and not having a real business model and how they want to operate it, and so they weren't the best operators in the esports world. And then Subliners is interesting.
Subliners also seemed like they cared a lot, and they also sold. I mean, they had a whole. I'm not sure what's going on with Vindex now. I'm not sure if that's just like a.
They were never involved with. They were not an investor in Vindex though.
What do you mean? Wasn't the parent company of New York Subliners Vindex?
No.
Are you
sure? They were one of an OG Vindex client. As far as I know, they were not a subsidiary of Vindex.
Oh.
I worked for Esports Engine. I think there were ties just because either Mike or Sonny, I think, was on the board of Subliners.
Either way, that was what? The Mets owner, and then what was his name? And then Farzam and all them were like the operators.
It was the Wilpons.
The Wilpons.
Yeah. And then they wanted to. They then pivoted to more of a Web 2, Web 3 thing because they were never. They had a decent idea of how to run their business, but I think they wanted to more be a talent agency. I think they identified pretty early that they wanted to try and do the optic thing.
What up, Tommy?
It's just hard to do.
He said the Wilpons, those are my guys.
Well, here's my thing, Zen, because I think the best way to run it, I've had this conversation with Eric Anderson. I think the way that Hector runs it is like the right way to run a theoretical esports business, but it's hard to do. I think the best, and I actually, Adam App agrees with me on this, Zen. Adam and I had this combo. I think it's very tough to make a profitable esports team business. There are only a couple that do it, but I think the best way to do it is to merge, be an esports team and a talent agency at the same time. Because a talent agency is where you can actually bring in the real sponsor, partner, merch revenue streams, right? Like what you guys do.
It's kind of the only way, if I'm being honest, as an esport, because
at the moment, the only way, yeah.
And I am curious, like, what would have happened if COVID didn't happen and the original model did happen. And this is basically purely off guessing. Because orgs, I think, would have made decent amount of money hosting a lot of the tournaments they were supposed to host. That's where you would have got ticket sales, merch sales. Yeah. At least that was their plan. Like, I'm curious as to what would have actually happened if that happened. Because that not happening made them entirely rely on sponsorship dollars, merch sales, and obviously a lot of these new orgs weren't selling out merch. Rather, you had some teams more popular than others. Like I think when I joined Boston was doing well. I think Ultra was able to do well, but there were some teams like, and maybe I'm wrong, I doubt the Mutineers were selling out merch, and you know what I'm saying? Thoughts on the league Faze logo? I think the Faze logo blows dick, Tom.
The Faze logo is terrible. I think you're talking about if COVID never happened, like what would the league look like a year two?
I think that shit is tough. Oh, you got to be lying. Yeah, Tom's got to be lying. He thinks the logo is tough.
Tom Zuma just said that?
He's got to be lying, bro.
Listen, I love the Faze boys, but I think that logo is not it.
I can't even describe it. Yeah, it's like Van Halen.
Listen, I don't want to be a hater. You know what I'm saying? I don't like being a hater. It's
way worse than the prior, is what I'll say.
I think it could use some tweaks. I don't know, bro.
I do understand, like, the... I'll tell you what, the top version is way better. I pray to God this entire thing isn't used here.
I think the biggest thing that logo needs is I think the straight like sans serif V doesn't have enough style to match the F side of it. I think it just needs like a couple of tweaks, like some more accent, maybe change the angle of the right side of the V. Like it's a really good concept to do the F and the V merge, but I think the way they've done it is just
actually hold on. The more I look at it, I don't mind. I hate this one where it actually spells out Vegas.
I think it just needs a little bit of tweaks.
This one on a jersey could be clean.
If I would love to see what it looks like with two colors. I think if you can do if it's not a straight solid color, if you can do a really good two color, it'll make the V pop out and it might actually look nice.
Well, I'm not lying. Why the fuck would I lie? I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, the more I look at it, I hate this, and this is like, I do see this potentially being clean on a good jersey.
Yeah, I think the alt logo they potentially will never use. That's fine. Plenty of people register an alt logo they never use. Like you can go through US trademark and you'll see so many alt logos for brands. I think the FV is not the best. I would love to see what it looks like with an actual color scheme.
Hold on. Wait, what is this? Black Ops 7 may move up its release date?
Yeah, that's the word on the block.
To when?
Probably maybe a week or two before.
Whoa.
I don't think they're going to move it up, I don't think they're going to go head-to-head with Battlefield. I think Battlefield comes out, the middle of October?
I think that's what they're trying to do if they move it up. They're trying to fuck with Battlefield.
Nah, but it would be suicide to do the same release date.
For COD?
Yeah, it'd be suicide.
Really?
People aren't going to spend $160 on that. Why would this is Kanye 50 Cent. Like, I don't think it really benefits them. Like, if Battlefield's coming out on the 10th, like if they want to move it up, you move it to the 24th. You take 2 weeks.
No, yes, I definitely don't think you do the same
people
day.
Are not going to spend $160.
I think both games lose. Both games lose if they release within like the same couple days. Both games would lose.
Tommy Zuma in your chat. Tom, you really gotta think about it as more of a casual gamer than being just someone that runs COD. Because you're gonna give them the cash or get it for free or whatever. But like,
Battlefield's in a really good spot right now. I don't think like Battlefield is big right now. Like everyone's loving everything Battlefield has going on. Like there's so much positivity around Battlefield, and then around Call of Duty you have just so much negativity. So I agree with Ben. I think both games win if there's at least like a 2 to 3 week buffer between releases.
So I think there's an unwritten rule with publishers, especially of games of the same genre. They don't sit on the same release date. Like think about when you've ever had big game releases, and just like it happens in the music industry, they try to steer clear.
Hell yeah,
when there's overlap.
They're not dropping the same night as Drake.
You're saying it's a little bit of an unwritten rule, and I think what COD probably is realizing is that late November with Thanksgiving and like sort of the holiday season might limit their ability to make more money Q4. They were worried about Battlefield like really getting 3 great weeks, and they may see that they can slide a week or two forward and maximize more revenue, which would actually be better for everyone involved. Because like what I was worried about in November was just the game would come out, you get a week, and then Thanksgiving, and it's just kind of like those 2 weeks have become so awkward.
I think Black Ops 7 needs to have a great beta. I feel like this beta is very important. Battlefield dropped a fantastic beta. I think COD needs to do the same. Like we need to switch the dialogue about Black Ops 7 to positivity, because the reality is people just hate on COD these days to hate on COD. I'm a COD gamer through and through. I'm not hating on a game that's not out yet. Like some people choose to be like, that game's gonna suck. I think that's silly. I think the game's gonna be awesome, and then I'll change my opinion whenever we actually see it. I am going to COD next. Yep.
So I think like if they're sliding this date up from the 14th to say like the 31st of October or like the 7th, I think that's a W. Like that's actually, I think that's good for everybody involved.
Well, I gotta know, bro. I'm visiting my sister at the end of October in DC. I gotta fucking know when this game's coming out, because we got the race to Master Prestige.
You might just send a text to Rob Taylor and see if you can,
I mean, okay, he's definitely, if they're changing the release date, they're definitely not telling me if they're changing the release date.
Next though, if it's happening, they're gonna announce it in fucking on the 30th.
Yeah, listen, then the trip gets canceled. It's very simple.
Listen, I got Ohio State games I got to schedule around, brother. I got season tickets. Game coming out on Friday, and I got fucking chalk up a Saturday. I got to go sell those tickets. Like, those bitches are not cheap. But
do you know if any other Optic boys are going to COD next? I'll let them tell you who's going.
You guys in? Did you talk about the event stuff already? Did you talk about the UK shit?
Yeah, I'm not happy about Birmingham if that's true. Like, it's better than nothing, but I much, much, much prefer London. Birmingham, like, even people that live in Birmingham don't talk highly of Birmingham.
Yeah.
But I do think it's better than no European event, right? And then Paris, I think, with Gentlemates being involved, I think, and especially Koi, like, I think, or not Koi, sorry, what the fuck am I saying? Gentlemates being involved, like, a Paris event will go crazy.
Well, Koi would be Toronto, yeah.
A Spain event would be insane. Well, hold on. The Toronto one's actually bothering me because you won't find a bigger fan of Toronto than me, but no one wants to go to Toronto in the winter, bro. Like, them hosting the season opener is not the smartest idea to bring people to Toronto because you can't do anything in Toronto during the winter.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be fucking brick.
I'm going to give you 2 reasons why I think that might be happening. One is they have gotten the good end of, like, almost every year deal as far as when their event runs. So, like, the Toronto event's always been in the spring, summer. And 2, I assume things are just cheaper in Toronto in the winter.
Oh, I'm sure.
So they're going to save a few bucks by doing it. I mean, it won't be that, bro. If it's at, like, Maname or what's that arena that's in Liberty Village?
Coca-Cola?
What is that where the Marlies play?
I don't know. It might be Coca-Cola.
Yeah, either way, it'll still be fine. It'll be brick, but, like, it's not like... It'll be brick, but, like,
No,
there's
man,
still shit to do in
brick.
Toronto.
Nah,
I know it's gonna be brick, but it's still gonna be shit to do though.
Yeah, but it just changes the vibe, bro. Like Toronto, in like spring or summer, you're able to walk the streets and walk and get a coffee and then walk to the CN Tower. Like now it's Uber everywhere. Get inside ASAP. Bring all of your winter bulky stuff. Pack your suitcase. Your suitcase is gonna be full with bulky hoodies and winter coats and.
Listen, yeah, but I don't mind that. Listen, like maybe just because I'm a big like I ski and shit. Like I don't mind going to Toronto in the winter, bro.
Okay, Mark McMorris.
Yeah, Mark calling me Mark McMorris. Here we go. Like fucking Sean.
Like White.
Listen, it would be better to go to Toronto if it was like, you know, major 3 or major 4 situation, but getting a Toronto event always for me is a W just because I really like the city.
No,
winter or not, like, you know. At least hold on. At least if it's winter, there's a good chance the Leafs are in town, so I can actually go to a fucking Leafs game.
We don't give a fuck about the Leafs no more, Ben. Come on, bro.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, your boy. RFP, man.
Major 1, Toronto in February. Major 2, UK in March. Major 3, Texas in April. Major 4, Paris in June. Champs, Vegas in July. EWC, Riyadh. Is this just like a guess?
Well, so he just read it from my stream because in that article, it was rumored that Toronto's the kickoff.
Yeah.
UK in March. I assume it's either Major 2 or Major 3. I assume that's a DreamHack host. Based on the Birmingham choice, NEC just feels like...
You're missing one here, Ben.
There's a 5th event, you think?
I don't know if there's a 5th event, but you're missing one. I'll poke you.
No, this is not my list, because I'll tell you, hold on. I'm going to punch. Yes, no, I know, because that's probably... You think there's 5? Because I heard that that's...
I have no idea if it's 5. You heard it's what?
Might be that. I'm put in the chat. Me? No, I just put in the chat on TeamSpeak.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's 5 majors or something, but I heard that for sure.
I mean...
At the moment.
That would make it maybe 5 majors.
Well, I hope we get 5 majors. That'd be lit.
But I'll tell you what. Shit, I can't speak too much here. I need to... Because I can't lie. I know all of our majors this year. I already know. But
here's what I'll say, and you'll probably agree with him. There is last year, the last few years, there have not been a lot of interest from teams wanting to host events. There are actually, the league has got a very interesting situation this year. I actually think that they may have to turn people down from running events this year.
Hell yeah. Hey, the more the merrier,
baby. The opposite problem this year now.
Or just run more events, bro. Let's have 6 or 7 majors. Like, let's let them all run them.
Well, 7 majors would be... tricky. I think 5 major champs EWC, assuming the league starts in December, that's 7 events in like 8 months is pretty good.
Paris and Madrid?
I don't think we're getting Madrid this year.
I don't think we're getting Madrid either.
I don't think we're getting Madrid this year.
Even though Spain would be awesome, just because especially with the Heretics Koi stuff, I think Spain, this is like the perfect time. Like I think a Spain event this upcoming year would hit way harder than last year. We didn't go last year. But just based on that beef with Real and Heretics and Koi now like officially going by Koi, I think that would be so insane this year.
I think that the reason it may not be a Madrid event is last year KOI hosted that event. I think Heretics would probably want to run theoretically the next one or KOI. But I just think it's going to happen next year.
In the perfect world, they split the cost and it's a joint event, but they would never because they hate each other. Never.
That's Boston Red Sox running a fucking event.
Yeah.
I'm thinking Faze would run an event because they're on good terms, but like Heretics and KOI, no. I think the league is probably looking at it of like they've just seen all of the videos of esports events that have been in France over the last like year, and they're like, yeah, if Gentlemen want to come in and do a banger, like it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like we can't say no to that. That's a market where we've flirted with running a pro event before, and like
what, Paris?
It's gonna be, yeah.
Oh, bro, Paris would be awesome. Insane. Paris would be awesome.
It's gonna be the last event of the year, I think.
Yeah, one's missing here, and I'm just not sure if it's gonna be a major 5 or if it's gonna replace one of these on the list.
Yeah, I agree with
there's
Zen.
my cold brew. Thank you, Mom.
I agree with Zen. There is. I think the Jake Hale tweet chat is
Ben,
really...
I'm about to be yapping hard, just so you know, because I already had a big cup of coffee, and now I just got a Rook cold brew. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Rook, but holy shit.
Well, I drank one of these.
I'm about to be fucking wired.
I just drink a high brew, bro, so I've been fucking wired too.
This is actually not good. I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight again, bro.
Wait, hold on. You drink one iced coffee at fucking noon and you can't sleep?
Yeah, I've been struggling to sleep at night, and I don't know why, but I don't think the caffeine's been helping. Only 4 majors is criminal, should always be 5.
Why don't you go rip the I agree. Why don't you go rip the Papani store?
Nah, I don't
really
smoke
fucking
anymore,
Eddie.
Bro. I maybe should.
Take a nice Eddie or get some tincture right before you go to bed.
Okay, let's say these are true. I'm going to give you... Hold on, I just got 50 gifted, Ben. One moment, Ben. God smacks you. You're a fucking hot guy, man. You hang out with the coolest dudes. You eat at the finest restaurants, and you just made my fucking day, buddy. That sip of cold brews for you. I need everybody in here dropping that 50 gifted emote. That put us over 2,800. My boy smacks you. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers if anybody's got a Prime. We got Elden Ring coming up, guys. I'm gonna be playing Elden Ring all fucking day. But I figured we got some Call of Duty news. We don't get to talk about Call of Duty much right now. In chat?
Well, no, I'll just say it on stream. I think the one thing that could change your chat is that there's a lot of whispers behind the scene that there might be multiple DreamHack events next year. But I think things are in flux. So that's why I think the complication on the calendar is. And I won't be... I'm going to put into even another levels in. Another level. I won't be surprised if there are potentially multiple DreamHack events. The reason there might be multiple DreamHack events is that teams are seeing an economic partnership that's a good one for them, where they partner to run an event with DreamHack in their market. That makes sense?
Yeah. Smacks you, thank you so much again.
Market.
Seriously,
so like
bro.
everybody's splitting the cost
for that.
like 3
Chat,
ways.
We're on a 50 sub train, courtesy of Smacks you. If anybody's got a Prime.
Chatter. Again, the calendar is not locked, so until there's official announcements, and even then, remember, we've had official announced events. Remember, Carolina was going to run a major 2 years ago.
Ben, that question, you said that teams might get turned down from hosting events this year because you think there are teams. Why? Why can't we just host more events if we have more teams wanting to host events? Can you explain this from maybe your point of view? Because to me, the more the merrier. We all want more tournaments.
Yeah.
If we have teams that are willing to pay for them or at least help contribute, now is the time to go have 6, 7 majors. Who gives a fuck? Let's do it.
Well, it depends on 2 things. If a team is willing to take 100% financial hit on running an event, then I think the league is always going to try and figure it out. But a lot of these teams utilize the subsidy provided by the league to run the event.
Oh, the prize pool will be an issue as well, huh? Because then the league has to cough up more prize pool, or you split it,
it's not about the prize
or it's
pool.
spread thin. Go ahead.
Prize pool is smaller than the subsidy of the event. Like, because I think the prize was also contributed by the developers too. It's the way it's usually been done, unless that's changed. I think the problem is that, like, yeah, there might be 8 teams that want to run events, but the league is not going to put 8 of the same subsidy size and have to add another $3 or $4 million to their budget. It's like, I don't think it's a scheduling problem, because you could tweak the online portion of the schedule around running more events in. You know what I'm saying? I think it's an economic problem. It's like, what are these? Because none of the owners are ever going to talk about this on stream. You know, they're not going to sit here and say, well, we want to run the event, but only if the league gives us $500K to run the event, 750, whatever it is.
Well,
so that's why I think it's a limiter.
One thing I really hate about this hypothetical list, Ben, is the first tournament being in February, because I can't tell you how much it bothers me that we don't capitalize on our influx of viewership at the beginning of game drop every single year. It is the biggest miss that Call of Duty has every single year. You bring in all these viewers for everybody, individuals, the game, everybody. Viewership is at an all-time high, and we just let it dissipate, and then we host a tournament, and then the usual gang sticks around, right? Which I think we do have a lot of people that love competitive Call of Duty. But we miss the opportunity to bring in actual new people when the game is at its peak every single year. We have this holiday break. Everyone goes home to their families. They open their gifts, and they come back, and then they live their regular life. Call of Duty is not on their front of their mind anymore. It's silly. It's like, I'm trying to compare it to something else. It's like having this huge box office hit, and then it comes out for a week, everybody goes and sees it, and then they take the movie out of theaters for a month. And then by the time it comes back in, people are just going to wait for it to come out on demand. Like, it's so silly to me.
Here's my thing, is like, even if you don't want to run a full square 8,000 people in a fucking venue thing in December, bro, do more stuff like what Kason did early on.
But make sure the game works. Like,
there are ways to do a smaller-ish or smaller scale event and still operate in the end of November, December, and like give everybody something until the first major. People just want to see. But there were people at the league for the longest time that believed that like there was a mystique to not seeing these teams play to the end of January, and those people might have been the stupidest people on planet Earth. Fans want to see Faze and Optic and Thieves play each other on the day the game comes out. 100%. They want to see those guys square up in an Xnid tournament. More activity, the better. And even if it's smaller scale activity, then you hit those first 2 months while you're trying to figure out the game still works. Like there's just so much stuff you can do.
Bro, we might need to get some creators involved. Like, you know what? I'm gonna have a roundtable meeting. I'm gonna go talk to Hector, Hitch, Zuma, Seth, Matt. I'm gonna talk to as many people as I can and see if we can just throw a creator bash where everyone comes to Texas. We take turns casting it. We bring some of the cast. I don't give a fuck what it is. Something like the Kason land with more people involved. Just to, more teams.
Why don't we do two? You do one at the Faze headquarters. You do one at the Hex quarters.
Well, I don't know if we need two. Oh, you mean the Faze HQ in Frisco?
You could do 2 editions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't really care. Like, I don't care if I'm involved at all. Like, I just want a tournament early on to see if we can, because every year we have the conversation, what will it take for the CDL to grow? What will it take for the COD League to grow?
Yeah.
And the one thing that I think can truly make an impact has never happened. The Kason land was like, in theory, what should have been, you fly out 4 top teams, you have like, a little tournament. The problem was it was an 18-hour tournament because the game kept breaking.
100%.
But that tournament also needs Activision marketing. That's the thing. That's the perfect storm that's going to, I think, maybe, and I'm not saying it's 100% going to help, but I want to see it at least happen so we can talk about it. If you combine a beginning of the year tournament with Activision marketing, and I'm not talking I'm talking Activision marketing. Like the actual marketing I want.
You know how Kason did his, though? Like, that was a very smart trade out of Kason. Like, you know how that happened, right?
I believe so.
Kason, for people that may not know, and this is why Kason, fucking 4,000 IQ Kason. Kason had to handle the CDL side, which wasn't easy, right? He was talking to YouTube, he was talking to the owners. But on the Activision marketing side, he did a trade with them. Like, he offered that, he wanted to run this tournament, but he offered to get Kai and XQC and all these guys to play in a creator tournament, and they were fucking down for that trade. You know what I'm saying? Like, the classic thing that happens in movies. You do a blockbuster, the director also gets to do the passion piece like right after that. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
I think it could be done, Zen. Listen, I'm gonna say for transparency's sake, I've talked about this on stream. I had pitched about 90 different ideas to fucking Faze Clan on how to do shit at the headquarters. I don't know why I keep saying the headquarters. The headquarters in Frisco, on like creator stuff. I pitched like, for example, Zen. You know what's a very easy idea that requires 0 effort? How many players are based in fucking Texas now?
A lot.
Bro, pick one day a week after scrims. Everybody in person goes to the Faze HQ or the Thieves Studio or the Falcons headquarters or the Hex quarters, and they just do an in-person Age tournament. Everybody streams. The setups are there. It takes 3 seconds to set your shit up. Bada bing. You play for a couple $1,000s. You get a sponsor. There's IRL content. Everybody starts beefing and yelling at each other.
I think that's
it's fucking
awesome.
Great clips.
I think that's awesome, but I think that would be something awesome for the existing base. Like, if you know the players. Like, my number one priority is growing the game to new people. We have so many people that, like, bro, the Call of Duty competitive community, I'm not going to say a bad word about it, because despite the game state, despite developer disparity, you know, this is broken, the Call of Duty community watches every single tournament. They're showing love. They're supporting creators. Like, the Call of Duty community is fucking loyal and amazing. I want to grow that. I want more people to come in. We already have an amazing loyalty base. What you're saying, I think, is amazing. I think it's a perfect thing for people that are in my stream right now, that are in your stream right now, that are supporting us anyway, that want to see cool things happen. We need a fucking big prize pool, big marketed tournament early on to grow this thing. Period. I'll die on this hill. And I think Activision just needs to decide if they're willing to do that at some point. And the thing is, bro, there are so many, the orgs, the creators, we would all love to help. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a single creator in this space that wouldn't put their best foot forward given the opportunity. Right? So, I don't know. But I feel like I say this every year, and we miss the mark every single year because all of the marketing dollars are spent. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty left over, right? But of course, yeah, bro, you get Drewski and Kevin Hart in a commercial. You get Kevin Durant in a commercial. You get these crazy marketing commercials for Warzone. Where is, like, even a crumb of that for the competitive side of things? Because I still think so many people don't know we exist. And I think if they knew we exist, they'd watch, bro. I'm telling you.
You're talking about a creator tournament would be like, you're trying to figure out who wants to get in on, like, funding a creator tournament on that end? Is that what you're saying?
Repeat that.
Like, if you want to get new, what's your hook on getting new people to watch? Is it a straight COD comp tournament with players? Or are you talking about, like,
it's a Call of Duty competitive community or tournament, but I think we leverage the creators. And the creators, like, bro, I'm talking every single... I'm talking a regular major. I'm talking a major tournament thrown at the beginning of the year. And maybe we leverage...
you're talking about, like, add a big venue type shit. Kayson's had this idea.
Brother, I am talking a major within the first 3 weeks of game drop.
This was Kayson's idea. He talked about this on stream. This is what Kayson wanted to do at Anaheim.
It's not his idea. I've been talking about this for 10 years, brother. It's just what should happen. There should be a major within the first 2 weeks of game drop. With a big prize pool, a full-blown production is what it should be. That's it. With more marketing around it. Imagine a commercial on TV, bro, where it's... Imagine you're sitting there watching football or something, Ben, right? And on your screen, it's date, Super holding Scrappy, Shotzi standing up and screaming, $1 million up for grabs, Call of Duty... in whether Las Vegas, Los Angeles, whatever. Actual, like, marketing. Or you see it on Twitch ads, where if you're watching League of Legends, you see this. I don't know. I'm talking about pulling every single fucking rabbit out of the magician's hat I want pulled out. Every single thing that could work, I want it tried for once. And if it doesn't try, if it doesn't work, I'll shut my fucking mouth. Sorry for cutting you off, Ben.
The tough part's in, and this is why I tip Kason. The hardest part with doing this idea is if you're like, okay, well, we want to do this thing, and it's either a pro-am or creators are involved. The creators, especially if it's not a digital thing, they want to get paid to do something.
Bro,
unless you're Kason, and Kason is like maybe the only person on planet Earth that is able to get those people to do shit for free. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just it's tough because, like,
Ben, listen, if any creator wants to be paid for it, they should not be involved. I know for a fact.
Those are all who are you going to get that's wanting to do it for free?
Us, brother. Us. Me, Seth, Tommy, Octane. We don't need to pay. I mean, listen, if you want to pay someone like Kai Cenat to watch, I'm all for it. But I'm not really talking about that. I mean, that's just like a super, super cherry on top. That's not enough. listen.
I'm just trying to understand the concept. Like, because if it's just you guys are endemics. Like, how are you? Your core goal here is you're trying to get new people to watch. Like, in order to get new people to watch, you need to get crossover audiences. No,
I think naturally, if you throw a big tournament in the beginning of the game cycle, I think naturally you're going to bring more people in, just because people are all talking about it in different chats, whatever. And you know what? Maybe sure, Tim the Tatman's been paid to watch CDL. Pay some of these guys that maybe aren't as endemic. 100%. I'm all for that. But I still think it starts with Activision's actual marketing team. Ben, you know what they're capable of. You've seen the marketing for Warzone. You've seen it. We've all seen it. We have not had even we haven't had 1% of that level of marketing. Give us 10% of their best marketing. Throw a big tournament, throw a major, every team. Ben, all I'm saying is naturally, go look at Black Ops 7 on the Twitch directory during the first month of the game release. Then look at it 2 months after. The difference is crazy. So I think just by default, you're going to bring in a lot of new people just based on the timing. Then you get Activision's marketing dollars. And you know what? Fuck it. Spend some of those marketing dollars on getting Kai, Tim, Agent, Phantom. Get them all to watch. Because, bro, the thing about Call of Duty is everybody knows it. Everybody loves it. Bro, when I introduce people that aren't endemic to competitive Call of Duty, they love this shit. They do. Like, bro, when Grant Williams was watching in Boston, sitting there, NBA player, he's loving that shit. He's invested. When I'm with Mitch and I put it on the TV and we're talking about Faze versus Toronto, whatever, we're sitting there loving it. If you like Call of Duty, I think you'll really enjoy watching pro Call of Duty.
So the issue's in that there's a big political problem. I've talked about this a lot on stream. In order to do the thing that you're doing, you're executing the Activision launch marketing budget, which, by the way, is very big. Like
huge, like crazy.
There's a lot of zeros. The problem is those people in the CDL have a political problem that they have never been able to figure out as far as working with each other for a number of reasons. Some of that goes back prior to well before the CDL, and some of that is just territorial corporate like bullshit that just exists. And getting those people to play, like, I think you could come up with a really good creator concept and pitch it to Activision. It's not going to be a CDL thing. It'll be a straight up Activision Call of Duty thing. The CDL will want to get involved and get told to fuck off, and it would just be an Activision marketing thing.
Moonslay said, don't pay creators, no point, because they're only watching that one time. See, if it was me, real quick, Ben, and I'm building a deal for Kai Cenat, I'm building a deal where he's watching 2 or 3 tournaments. I'm not doing, okay, Kai, you're going to watch for 2 hours. And it's going to be pricier, obviously.
I would not get Kai. Kai, but paying creators to watch a game they don't give a shit about is pointless. Like, if you get Tim to watch the CDL, he'll care, and it'll be funny with him in Nate Shop. But, like, the best way to get Kai, this is why I tip K-Son, bro. The best way to get someone like a Jinxie or a Kai or an XQC or an agent involved is when they're either playing or they're coaching, or it's just like a bullshit.
Hold on. Those guys also just do what they want, bro. Like, I played against Jinxie during the Race to Master Prestige. He challenged Scump to like a match, and then I got in there because it was a 2v3, whatever. But like, these creators love Call of Duty. Like, that happened naturally. That was not a paid thing. Jinxie had 80,000 viewers in a 3v3 with him and his 2 boys against me, Nate, and Seth. Like, that's awesome right there. Kai's viewers don't give a fuck about esports. I mean, I wouldn't say all of them. I'm sure. I bet you a lot of his viewers don't even know what it is.
Bro, so the person in the chat saying Kai would definitely watch and bring his audience. Bro, what you don't want is what happened with Kai Cenat and fucking, like, Drake the other day. Did you see what happened with that?
No. Oh, wait, so the shit's ass?
So, like, Kai, his chat was like, you got to watch Iceman. He's like, fine. So we watched episode 3. He didn't really say nice things about it because he was bored out of his mind. Then Drake was throwing pot shots at him yesterday on Instagram. Like, the problem is you don't want to pay a big streamer to watch it if they're not going to, like, care, because then it's going to be the worst watch party of all time. So I would say a better investment of that money, if you want to pay someone to watch, is like Tim, because at least if Tim is getting paid to watch COD, Tim is going to care and give a shit, and like it'll make it entertaining.
Okay, hold on. Okay,
if you want to get people like Kai involved,
we're going off on a tangent that I wasn't even on. I don't really care about like paying creators to watch it. I care about the timing of the event with Activision's full-blown marketing behind it to see where it goes. That's what I care about. That's what I think can truly grow it. And you know what? When you launch Black Ops 7, I want you to know there's a big tournament going on. holy fucking shit. That also sends me sideways. How do you get on the game and there's a huge tournament going on and it doesn't tell you boldly, watch competitive COD for millions right here? That's also how you bring in a new base.
Because their game, because they don't have, so Riot is like a very flat structure where like those marketing teams, those like internal teams are all tied to like, you know, what they're doing on a competitive side. It just doesn't happen in Activision. And so like what you're trying to do here, listen, we all want an event in December. I agree. The CDL's got to figure out the budget end and they're going to run a major in December. Everybody agrees on that. That's really the trigger on that.
Bro, we used to have events in December, didn't we?
Yeah, but
what
you know
event?
How that happened,
didn't
though?
we have
you know
Vegas in December?
Yeah, but do you know how Adam and them pulled that off? Like they had to plan that fucking 18 months in advance.
Did Ben get quieter? No, never mind. You're good. Go ahead.
The way that Adam and them did that, I've talked about this on stream with Adam, is that they would 18 months out get the budget approved to wrap it around to the next fiscal year because they couldn't trust that Activision wouldn't cut that budget midway through. They had to get that spend approved so far in advance. I think the problem with the CDL is like they just think in 12-month increments and even less. They're thinking in 7 or 8 month increments, and then they're not planning the wraparound tournament for the next year. Like that's got to be included with their budget spend on whatever they're planning. They're getting approved by Activision, you know, by the executives are. So it's like, that's why we haven't had one. Although you and I both agree, like
guys,
last year when there were rumors that we were gonna have an event in Anaheim in December, like that shit should have happened.
Guys, he's just telling you guys the truth here. I think he's not really talking about. I don't think he's playing devil's advocate. He's just telling you how it used to happen in the past. I don't know, man. I would just love for just to see it once, and then if it doesn't work, I'll shut my fucking fat mouth. It's not a problem. Until I see it happen, I can't help but think we're missing out on growing the game, and potentially in a big way, by implementing some things that I don't think would be too difficult.
I'll say this with creator, if you're talking about like just two things. Yes, we need a Q4 event. I would say the ROI though, if you're trying to do something with like big non-endemic creators, I don't think that event has to be in person though. I think you get the same return, the same audience growth if it's digital. Now, if you've got an insane, there is levels to it though. Like to your point, if there is a way to run $1 million creator tournament on LAN, that's an entirely different stratosphere though. Like if that's your blue sky pitch
no,
of like,
I don't want creators involved. I don't want to watch Kai versus Agent. I don't want to watch Tim versus Cloaksy. I want to watch Scrap versus Shotzi in the first 2 to 3 weeks of the game drop to properly display what our product is when our viewership is at its highest.
That's why I mean, look, I think that may happen this year. One is, I'm very curious if Kayson's going to run back his invitational again. If he's going to do it, he'll probably do it, I would think, in Dallas, right? Because like they have the HQ now. He did it in Halo in the same space. Like if he's going to do it, he'll probably do it. I know he wasn't a fan last year of like doing the launching because of like how it went down with the game issues, but like, you know what I'm saying? I could see him doing it. But like, what's your other pitch to add on top of that? Like, you want to you saying like major one December,
bro,
with the bigger
Ben,
prize pool type shit?
do not want a case. Okay, let me make sure I say this
I'm just
properly.
trying to firm up exactly.
I'm all for a case, Ben. I want a Call of Duty major.
Yeah.
In the first 2 to 3 weeks of game drop, with a big prize pool, with a full-fledged LAN event. I want a major. That's all I want. I don't want creator stuff. I don't want like Kayson stuff. Hell yeah, bro. I want all teams. I want every team. I want every single team in the same building for a weekend within 2 to 3 weeks of game drop with Activision's marketing dollars behind it. That's all I want. Because I think the timing of it is the main thing. The timing of it is the main thing.
You want what Halo doing Infinite came out, right? They dropped the game and there was only an event like a week later.
Yeah, I mean, a week, I do think there's a lot to learn. I don't think it should be like the players should have two
like
weeks to
beginning of December. Yeah, it's saying like beginning of December, basically.
Yeah.
In November. Yeah, I mean, that'd be perfect. It's been, we've had it before with Raleigh. We used to have it all the time in CWL.
No, you know what there should also be at COD Next? There should be a show match, a pro show match at COD Next. It should be Optic versus Faze, Optic versus Thieves, show match, COD Next, before the game even drops. I think that would be so elite.
I think that would be a great idea. I just don't think Activision marketing is going to do it because it benefits the CDL and not them. This is a political problem that I've talked about. Like, it's a good idea. I just don't think they're going to give CDL a free, you know what I'm saying, like to do it. That's the political problem. I think we need I agree with you, we need a Q4 event though. Like, it doesn't seem like we're getting one this year. Like the fact that we've only had it once in the CDL is like insane to me. We used to get it every year, Zen. Every year we had an event either at the end of November or the beginning of December. When was there a year where we didn't have it? Ghost AW we did. We didn't have it in Black Ops 3, but we had the like qualifier for the Pro League in December. Oh, no, we didn't. And we didn't in Black Ops 3.
How does the publicity not benefit
No, we
Activision?
did. We had Totino's.
Yeah, Ben, answer this. How would the CDL publicity benefit the CDL and not benefit COD? Wouldn't it benefit COD through benefiting CDL because you'd have people purchasing the team packs, watching COD more? Like what do you think COD loses by promoting that level of CDL?
You have to understand that corporations, I don't know if anyone here works for a big company. Like the political implications of decisions in a big corporation are insane. And I think with regards to Activision, the CDL entity is almost like a startup within Activision. It's not tied directly to Activision marketing. Activision marketing is responsible for the launch of the game and therefore said success, the execution of that. They're not going to do a thing where the CDL unit contributes $0 of their budget, but gets all of the upside. What is the ROI difference in Activision marketing doing next in Code Bowl and then just attaching versus that and then just attaching a CDL thing? It doesn't add any extra off the top.
So we essentially need Activision, Microsoft basically to change the model and include the CDL. Basically think of the CDL as they would think of Warzone, instead of thinking it as a startup within Activision. You know what I mean? Like, we essentially need access to that Activision budget.
The way to fix it is the CDL falls under Activision marketing as a direct report. That would fix the issue. If the CDL was a arm of the Activision marketing, Call of Duty marketing business, then that would fix this problem.
And what's the downside to that? That's my question.
The downside to that is
I don't see a downside. I guess that's my thing.
The downside to that is that they may not want to spend as much money outside of the launch windows. So Q3, Q4, Q1, like Q2, which is like a main part of the season, which is like April, May, June. Like you would have a tough time getting extra money during that angle, but that's where say someone like EFG would step in. You know what I'm saying? Because if EFG is going to be like, well, we can cover the gap by running DreamHack events during that and we'll take commercial responsibility, you might be able to solve that problem, you know?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think the other downsides. Obviously, people would lose their jobs. That's just with any reorg. I don't know what it would mean for the CDL at large in the EFG relationship with the CDL. That would change the contours of that significantly. But it would make more sense. Like it would make more sense, for example, we haven't talked about this, but like with market microtransactions and team skins.
Oh, don't get me started on this, Ben.
Yeah,
because
like all that stuff
Dota, 16-year-olds in Dota are millionaires based off of crowdfunding. Do you understand what a crowd-funded Call of Duty event would do? They'd be playing for 20 million, Ben. They'd be paying for 10 million at one tournament.
You're not gonna like this, Zen. Unfortunately, they've already kinda low-key rolled it out in COD, but instead of it going into the player prize pool, it's going right into the team pockets, and I don't think that that's going to change. I think the problem is that Valve is a really weird example. Valve is the most weird-ass game developer of all time. They just do weird shit to do weird shit, and they don't care about.
Ben, here's the difference, though. I got to cut you off here, though, because here's how it should go.
Yeah.
People would be more incentivized to buying the CDL stuff if, one, it was way cooler than it is, and two, if they knew even half of the money, 50% was going to the Call of Duty League prize pool. You buy this, the next major is going to be infinitely more money. It means you get a cool product and you get to watch an event with even more money on the line.
Representing the players. I'm going to be honest. This is...
And then 50%...
that benefits the players. It's a marketing angle for the league, but the team owners are not down for it because it's a revenue stream that they can't tap into.
Well, no. Then I think 25% goes to Activision, 25% goes to the teams. But I think you'll be getting a lot more sales because the products are cooler, and I think the added incentive of your money going to the prize pool will make people want to buy more.
Why do you think that we have a champs pack now? Whose idea do you think that was?
The champs pack blows cock. It was an armadillo.
I know it's terrible, but like who do you think has been pushing for that for years?
Probably the teams.
So they're not good. They want to if it was up to them, they'd give the players fucking zero, because they already operate a tough business. There's not, as we have talked about in the beginning of this like there's not a lot of upside for the team business. They want another revenue stream, and this is another one that they can figure out.
I can't even blame them for that.
I would love to do that. I would love for us at the compendium. You know what I'm saying? I would love to have like stickers like the way you do in CS. But Valve is a bad example because if it was up to them, they would tell the teamworks to always take a fucking hike because they don't give a shit. Well, then the problem is Activision's not going to do that.
Well, okay. Well, then you know what? If the teams want to make money, I can't blame them. If Activision wants to make money, that's the world. But at least, you know what? Even if when you buy something for the CDL, 10% goes to the prize pool. I still think that would be an added incentive. As long as what you're buying is cool. I can't get over how plain and bad a lot of the CDL marketed stuff is. The in-game packs, like, you have some of the best designers in the esports community with these CDL teams. And they don't really get to show their true potential.
Do you know why the CDL packs are not as good as the normal packs?
Why? Perky, welcome back for 13.
Because if the CDL packs were fucking incredible and the best designs of all time, people would not buy the other skins that make them significantly more money because they don't have to split it with the CDL owners in the CDL league.
I see.
Yeah, Chad, that's if you've ever wondered why, Chad, that's my conspiracy on it. Like, they don't want to make those skins the best skins in the fucking game because they don't get as much of an ROI as they would on the other stuff. And by the way, a lot of these people making these decisions, their compensation is via stock equity and stock options, and they have a fiduciary responsibility to shareholders to drive as much revenue for the company as possible.
Jesus, you're cooking right now. And you
it's
know
a
what?
Shitty situation is what I'm saying.
Yo, I think I've been doing the same thing. I can't even blame them. Good for them, dude. They got it all figured out. I'm real quick. Let me give a round of applause for. They got it figured the fuck out over there, man. I mean, good for them.
It's like, listen. From what I've heard this year, I hear it every year. The skin situation this year with the team skins is better. I've heard it's better. That there's more they can do. There's less restricted parts of the design, and like I'm saying, like they can do more. And obviously, that's on the teams to make those designs sick. I think the league has done a good job in recent years of giving teams more flexibility with jerseys. Like, I know that there was, for the last couple of years, some owners in the league not wanting teams to have multiple, like, alt jerseys. That's fucking insane to me. Teams can put out 39 fucking jerseys if they want to. I don't know why, like, there's a restriction on that. You know what I'm saying? But I just think long-term for the CDL, like, the restructure of it being part of Activision marketing would be by far the best change possible. I just don't see, unless someone knows, I just don't see a massive downside to the business by doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as the Activision marketing people are making the right decisions, you know, like as far as what is best for the fans and the product. If they're just doing some stupid shit, like, you know. But as far as for the business, like, I feel like it would mean more capital.
What do you think about Rocker's roster?
The Estriel,
Gwin, Kremp. Or, I mean, Estriel, Gwin, Kremp, and Skies.
Well, I actually think that is not as bad as a team as people may think. If Caesar can figure out with Dan, because I assume Dan's coming back as a coach for that team, how to organize the troops, I honestly think that an Estriel Kremp subduo is actually really not that bad.
Well,
and then you put Gwin on an AR, and
let
like
me just say
the shoot back ability is there, you know.
So the only thing I'll say is if I was Rocker, my number one priority would have been Mamba and Craze. I would have done everything I could to get Mamba and Craze. But if you're not going to get them, I don't think the roster is as bad as people are making out to be. I just think this is the reality of roster formation after all the top players go.
Yeah.
You're kind of... Gwin still has an insane amount of potential. You can say what you want about him, but you can't say he doesn't have potential. You can call him a kill whore. You can say he doesn't know how to play. I'm cool with all that. But you cannot say he doesn't have crazy potential because we all know Gwin can be a top player just based on what we see, the eye test. Ezreal, I think this is a big year for him. I feel like this is like, because everyone talks about what if for Ezreal and like he's so good and like players, maybe the community doesn't see it, but players value Ezreal pretty highly. Like they speak highly of Ezreal. Like when I've talked to some players, they're like, yeah, Ezreal's the best player on Rocker last year. And like I don't think that was necessarily apparent while watching. I think this is a big year for Ezreal, and I think the same thing for Kremp. Because Kremp is like confusing to me, where sometimes Kremp looks phenomenal, sometimes not so much, and I feel like this is like a huge year for Kremp to like really solidify his name. And then once again for Caesar, I feel like this is a huge year for Caesar because you make back-to-back champs finals, you win one of them, you go to Optic, the team on paper, it was such a... Listen, Caesar did not fit well into that roster. I'll be the first one to tell you that. This is Caesar's year to shut everybody up because I still think Caesar's a good player. Like I still think Caesar obviously has a ton of upside, despite he didn't play very well on Optic, but I didn't really expect him to based on that roster. This is a year where I think he needs to show out. So I actually think the roster is not that bad if each player can tap into their potential. If we see Ezreal come to form, Kremp play consistent, Gwin figure out the right way to play the game and help his teammates succeed. I'm actually... I'm not saying they're going to go out there and win, but I just don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be.
It's not a bad bet to the rest team. I'm just going to say the problem with their team is their team...
Crixus, welcome back for forward. Thank you.
I think that their team has got a lot of... Like, they could definitely shoot back with virtually everybody, but I just think that they will just be the, like... They will be their own reason they lose series because they just make stupid decisions as a team. But that might be their best option, the reigning players. There's not like some roster out there that's the best of the rest roster that's going to 100% work. This is actually not a bad choice out of them. And yeah, it might not work out. Caesar might be washed. Like whatever, I don't know.
I don't think Caesar's washed.
I don't think Caesar's washed either, but it's like...
I think people are being very unfair to Skies right now. I think people are being very unfair to Caesar right now.
Well, we have a lot of rosters like this in the history of COD. They make sense on paper, and they go on the map, like Carolina last year, for example, and they just can't do shit together as a team and make the right decision. And the problem with the other top rosters, like, you know, Thieves, for example, like, I think Thieves are good, but the other thing with the Thieves team is, like, their concepts and how they're going to want to play and their protocols are going to be good. Like, how they want to play, how they want to line up, how they want to tackle situations, they're going to know, and they're going to execute. With someone like that rumored fucking like team for G2, I just think the like Ezreal, Gwin, Kremp as a trio is not like the world's most highest in-game IQ fucking trio of all time.
I don't want to say that though, because like I don't think we know enough about Ezreal. Like Ezreal could be a smart ass player and we just don't know. You know what I mean?
His teams have, I will say, I think the problem with Ezreal, he just seems like someone who might be talented, but he's very quiet. So I just don't know. And to be honest, the two teams that he's been on have been two of the stupidest teams the last 2 years. So I just don't know if that's his fault or his teammates' fault. But the problem is you're picking up two players. Listen, I love Gwin, but Gwin got a lot of flack from players last year for just consistently making stupid-ass plays.
Bro, listen. Okay, hold on. No, because I'm going to speak about Gwin. Yeah. Gwin is still in the position to be a top player. Like, Gwin has so much potential.
Yeah, but you won't sit here and say that like, Dotsy and other people in Optic weren't talking shit about his gameplay.
No, 100%. And listen, I'm not saying he was playing 100% correct. I'm saying he has a ton of potential. And listen, I love Slasher, but a player like Gwin, I do not want next to Slasher. A player like that has to be able to make mistakes without being like reamed or like nitpicked into playing properly, because I think it makes players like him play worse and second guess his decisions. I want to see Gwin on a team where he can essentially do what he wants to do without worrying about his teammates like judging him or like hyper correcting him. I want Gwin to go out there and be Gwin. And I do think towards the end of the year, and I'm not saying Slasher was like a big problem in this, because I don't actually know how Slasher was on that team. I just have known Austin my whole life. He's always been a guy that wants to play correct. Stop doing this. We need to do this. I think players like Gwin need to be able to make mistakes. At Champs and EWC, Gwin played great. You can say he was kill whoring, whatever, but compared to the previous LANs, he was bad at LAN. He was great online, terrible on LAN, and he finally showed up in a big way on LAN for champs and EWC. Mostly champs, but it was just too late. That Carolina roster was done and dusted. But I think Gwin's potential is inarguable.
I agree. Listen, Kremp too, because let's not forget Kremp made a fucking final 2 years ago, like, and played very good at champs. Did the event prior, like his end of his run at Thieves was very good. I think Ezreal, Gwin, Kremp can all shoot back with the best of them in the CDL. The problem is that, as you saw this year, and I think probably potentially this year, the game kind of comes down to making the right decisions as a team. And my worry with Rocker is that, as talented as his roster I think will be, I just think it's the same problem as their old teams. They're just going to play 8 minutes of great COD, and in the last 2 minutes, they're going to fumble the bag, and they are just going to lose heartbreak after heartbreak series again.
But that kind of is what it is,
the best option available to them. Maybe it just is what it is, you know?
Well, because that's the thing, bro.
Who's available. It's not
exactly.
It's not like
you can't form a winning roster on paper right now. It's not possible.
Yeah,
all the winning rosters are formed. You have a clear-cut 6 teams that are better than what you're able to form. So you have to hope you put together a group of guys that click, cause some upsets, maybe a good search and destroy team, or they have a certain mode where they're actually pretty damn good in, and that makes series a lot more difficult for these top teams to win. You're not going to build... It's impossible for Rocker to be like, holy fuck, we just built the top 14. It's not possible. Essentially, we're all going to call this team shit, or a lot of people are, until we actually see what they're made of. And they might be shit, but Rocker's hoping that they're not. I'm going to go piss real quick, Ben. You have the floor.
No, I think, look, I agree with you. If you look at, the players that are available, it's not the world's best selection of players. I think for Rocker, this is a solid decision. I think then the conversation with this roster is, look, our path to being great is working harder than everybody else. You don't want to repeat the Carolina situation where we're fucking around, we're messing around in practice, we're not going hard. Because even if a team like, say, an Atlanta Faze last year struggles early, those guys are not idiots. They're going to figure out how to get to the level they need to get to, and they're going to pass you by March. And then you're going to waste the rest of the season. So it's like, if you're Rocker, this is a good type of team that can make champs. It's a good type of team that can get top 6 all year. But it's in their hands of trying harder than everybody else, figuring out the game earlier than everybody else, figuring out, the real cruddy shit, like working hard every day in practice. I don't know. I don't know if the team's going to do it, because it's an interesting mix of personalities from my end chat and both chats. Like, I think Astro seems like a really quiet guy. Kyle Kremp is definitely not a quiet guy. You ever seen him stream? I heard him talk. He is a yapper for sure. I think Caesar's a yapper. And Gwyn's also a quiet guy too. So it's an interesting mix of personalities. I don't know. I'm curious how it'll work out in practice. 'Cause I actually don't hate it for Rocker, honestly, chat. I think if I were in their shoes, I think this is probably their best choice if they're not getting Mamba and Reese. Or Mamba and Crazy, maybe Reese and fucking Mac. The people asking about the Faze logo, it fucking sucks. The Faze Vegas logo. I don't like it, bro. What it looks like in a trademark, it just seems odd. So we'll see how the final version looks, but they've got a lot of negative community sentiment today, and I think that it's a little bit warranted based on the leak design. So we'll see if they make some tweaks, or if it is what it is. Is Carolina waiting to get bought out? Correct. The issue with Carolina's roster is that until their ownership situation is resolved, I do not think you will hear a team linked to that roster. So they will be one of the last teams to form this year. Someone's asking about Twisted Minds. I think TM is definitely circling the league. I just don't know. Here's the thing for someone like Twisted Minds. I don't think that they want to get in the business of like being like heretics where they're operating a spot, but they don't own a spot. So I don't think they're interested in a situation like that. And from my understanding with Carolina, they're trying to hold on to the last vestiges of the asset at that spot and try to get into an arrangement similar to what Misfits has with the Miami spot. And I don't know if TM's down for that. I think TM would want to own their spot outright because it makes more sense for their business. The new Faze logo? Yeah, I can show it.
I'm back.
Nobody keeps asking me about this fucking logo, bro.
What, the Vegas logo?
Bro, the only good rebrand logo is the fucking Falcons one. The Falcons did a great job with the logo.
I gotta see the Falcons one again.
It's fucking, honestly, it's great.
It's in the video with Saleem, I'm assuming?
Yeah, just go to MC's.
Oh,
go to MC's
this
Twitter.
right here?
Yeah,
this is fire.
It's a nice logo, bro.
Oh, this is fire.
Yeah, this is a good design.
Yeah, that's fire.
Listen, because it's like cool. It's like you can see the kind of bird element to it. It's also got kind of the flame thing that's kind of what the general like kind of normal sort of branding for Falcons, right?
You know, I'm going to give this a standing ovation because that's a logo right there, Ben.
This is what the Falcons logo looks like.
That
you
looks
see the
amazing.
inspiration. Yeah, it's a good riff on it.
Yeah.
I think the
W
Faze logo
Rebrand.
just
Holy
awkward.
shit. That's tough comp, bro. The former Vegas team just puts out a logo like this, then Faze's logo comes out, and it's just not on par with this.
I wonder if my boy Osama fucking did it.
That is.
I forget
I'm
what
sure
Osama's
everyone's
fucking
loving
name
that.
is. I wonder if Osama fucking did it.
Yeah, MC, the hat's just like floating on MC's head.
Yeah, it's funny. Also, it's really funny in this video. MC's is wearing an AG level fucking jacket, bro. Him and AG are the fucking puffer duo now, bro.
Chad, is it time for Elden Ring? Or are you guys enjoying this COD talk? Because we can keep talking, bro. Trust me, we can keep finding things to talk about.
You know, Zenonaki, yeah, bro.
I'm really curious about this Black Ops 7 potentially being released earlier.
I mean, I think it's a good play if they're moving it up like 2 weeks. There's no way they're moving. I don't foresee them moving it to like the week after Battlefield. That would be insane. I think they're gonna give it 2 weeks. It should be perfect. You know how every game goes, bro. Everybody loves it. Everybody loves it the first week, and then the second week they start nitpicking the game. That's a perfect time to release another competitor.
Saeem got paid a lot of money to be on a shit team. This one, like, I don't think people like think about this in like an actual. I don't know. Listen, here's the way I see this, and I've said this when the move happened. I don't think it's about like win this very moment, but they've secured Celium, and I have to assume they've assured him that they're going to do their best to field a winning team around him, or around him and AG, whatever it may be. Like, I don't think it's crazy to think that Falcons will go spend whatever is needed to have a winning team. Like, I don't think Vegas is going to be okay with paying Celium a fuck ton of money and just placing top 8, top 6. Like, at some point, they're going to put people around him that justify their investment, right? They're not, yeah, they have a ton of money, but they're not stupid. They're not going to pay a guy to just place top 8 nonstop. It doesn't make sense. Their goal is to acquire pieces, and obviously the Xnid thing, they want to give Xnid a shot around better players, essentially is what I think it comes down to. Xnid starts last year with a full Saudi roster.
Yeah.
I think Xnid showed a lot of potential, but this year, I think, is the real test. It's like, okay, how good is Xnid? How fast can he become the player we think he can be? Can he fit the mold of a top player around better players? We'll see. Xnid isn't even bad. I don't think Xnid's bad at all. I just think, unfortunately for him, he's going to be in a very tough spot this year based off those teams' roles. Like, Celium, Pred, Xnid, Kismet. Like, luckily, Kismet going there, I think, does add a bit of, like, better fundamentals. But Xnid needs to be focused on making the right plays and being a good communicator. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get there in time before they move on from him. But we'll see.
I think with Xnid, if he's got to have a stint in challengers in the middle of this season or whatever, they will do whatever they can in their power to help that kid develop into a top player. Because for them, he is I mean, bro, like I was watching Xnid stream last night. I don't know a fucking word that he's saying. I'm saying I don't know Arabic, but like that guy is on like a Gotaga Nate Shot scum path, bro. Like he is a very quickly growing fan base that could become massive in 5 or 10 years in that region. Like they are going to try their best to figure it out. I think the issue with Falcons, and I've told MC this, Zen, is it's just you got a lot of personalities coming in this year. AG is obviously a big personality. Kid is a big personality. MC could be a big personality. They've just got to all be single-minded on how to get better every day.
The problem is also like
it can't be this, it can't be like a mercenary.
There's just so much pressure on Xnid as well because it's a lot more difficult to convince players to come play with Xnid than it would be to be like, come play with Celium or Pred. You know what I mean? Like Xnid is the one that people are a bit hesitant to play with, right? Everyone knows AG ceiling. I mean, I don't need to really speak much about MC. Like we all know. But Xnid is their guy that they're really like trying to develop. And I do think he's the first to go if things don't go well, unfortunately. And maybe he'll go to challengers because I do think, like you said, like, yeah, he already has a great fan base and it has so much potential to grow as, an actual, building the Saudi fan base, right? Because, like, without him on the team, it's just a Saudi organization. It's, you know what I'm saying? There is no...
I think you're thinking a little bit... as always with the Falcon stuff, I've possibly been be careful. I think it's hard to not think short term because that's all people do in COD when you think about rosters is short term. But like they have bigger plans. Yes, maybe next year, their team is some super team with fucking Sprap and Hydra and Simp or Jatsu, who the fuck knows? You know what I'm saying?
Whoa, come on. That last name wasn't necessary.
I'm not asking you to comment on that. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. We're good here, whatever. Word of Dashi. But like I think that Falcons are going to do everything they can to, figure out how to, make Saud a big player. I talked to MC, when he was making his decision, and that was definitely a piece of it. But I think they still put together like a good roster. Like I think for Falcons, like they still exit roster mania in a way better spot than they started. And I think if their roster clicks, even with, Saud still learning day to day, like they're still very capable of beating a lot, if not all, the good teams and potentially winning an event. It's just my concern with Falcons this year, and you probably have the same, is just how do all the pieces fit together. So aside, like how does MC and Kiz and AG Pred, like how do they all function on a day-to-day in practice? Because it's possible that they log in the server and they have 3 different ideas how they play, and you've been a part of teams like that. You're never going to win that way. Or it's going to be really hard to win that way.
Well, I mean, I think there's so much pressure on Xnid and Kismet because I think you know what you're getting out of AG. Like, AG is an S-tier slayer. Like, around the right system, Pred is so impactful. And I also think MC, fantastic search player, very hard kill. But based on the play styles, it's basically up to Xnid and Kismet to play winning Call of Duty. I think their goal is to set up their slayers. AG, I think, is not a guy who's going to lead the system. And AG's your fucking brunt force. AG, go kill everything. Kiz and Xnid set up the map, in my opinion. That's kind of the way that they're going to have to play.
I think this is a hot take. I think the only person who, unless they completely shit the bed this season, is probably a good chance of being on the roster the following year is MC. I'm going to be honest, everybody else, considering who might come in that spot the following year, all have pressure on them. I think Kiz, AG, and Xnid all have pressure. I think MC's the one that's got the least pressure on the team. Do you agree?
Maybe. I mean, I don't know the way that Falcons is thinking. I don't know if Pred is their guy or... I don't know. I truly don't know. He's bugging? I wouldn't say he's bugging because I understand what he's saying. Ben is essentially saying if next year Vegas could be, for example, Celium Scrap, Hydra Simp, I do think they would maybe consider moving on from AG. But I don't think AG really has much to worry about right now.
I think the one thing is always with Falcons is that, and I say this because you see what they do in other esports, particularly their CS team. They are not someone that is going to they do not give a fuck about sunk cost. Like, you understand? Is that what I mean by sunk cost?
Yes, they're not going to be like, okay, well, we already paid Pred this much, we have to keep him. Like, for example.
Yeah, if the team is not working, and I don't know what their goals are this year, I'll ask around. Try to see if I get out of like Clay and Dens what their goals are. But like, if this team disappoints through the first two majors, they may make big changes. They might bring in like they may shuffle the boat. And I just think
I think they're gonna. I think
everybody is thinking that Xnid is the one that's rotated out, and I like
Xnid's the one to go. Ben. Xnid, the thing. Listen,
if he's
bro,
dropping a 0.8, yeah, but like,
I gotta answer this one moment, Ben. Keep going.
I just caution people with Falcons that they don't operate the same that every other team in the league does, or necessarily in esports. And if the issue with their team is that they are underperforming due to just say scamming in practice every day, they may tell either Kiz or fucking AG that they're going to be riding the pine for a sec. So I think a lot of people, and I understand why, say, well, Saud's the worst, quote unquote, worst player on the team, whatever. I get that. He could pull up and drop a 0.8 this year, and you got no choice at that point. It is what it is. They'll just, send the challengers. But like, if he's holding his own and other players are making mistakes or being bad at practice or creating tension, they will rotate those players out, bro. They do not care. So I think people got to leave their preconceptions of the situation outside the door a bit when it comes to this team. Also, I think that their bigger term plan is, they know they're going to be good this year with this team theoretically, but I think their bigger swing, which is crazy because they had a big swing this offseason, was next season. I see finding a hard time on how Faze, Optic, and Thieves are going to keep their players. It might be MC and the three best players in the fucking league next year. Yao Ming Money, I think it's a little bit easier for them to build that kind of team in COD than is in CSO. The thing with CS is like, I think it's way harder to get the like S+ tier players off the team in CS, like a Donk or a Zywoo. But you can get like, you could spend 2 mil and get like potentially the next S tier player. In COD, the cost to get an S tier player is way less than
Sorry, that. Ben, when Bill Kenny calls, you answer.
Yeah, you can't fucking leave Bill in red, bro.
Okay, what were we talking about?
No, that's a nice guy right there, by the way. Shout out to Bill.
What were we talking about here?
Oh, we're talking about Falcons.
Yes, the reason I think Xnid would be the first one to go is because it's just so much harder to convince other players to come play with Xnid than it would be, like, for example, Pred. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're a player and Falcons is like, hey, you want to come play with Pred or Xnid, who do you think they're going to say? At least right now, I would say the answer is Pred. The issue is Xnid has to essentially improve in the communication department and, like, playing the game the right way at such a rapid pace now.
You're talking about Xnid?
Yes, like I think he is now on like an accelerated schedule, whereas last year, I think he wasn't under an insane amount of pressure to improve and become a more complete player. Like he was already, like everyone understood what was going on over there. Like Xnid needs time. I don't think he has time anymore. I think putting this team around him, it's either he's going to fit the mold and play well, or you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he has time.
I think what is the most likely scenario this year with them is that they will, Xnid will pull up this team. He'll play okay. They're going to get top 6, and he'll just have to spend some time in challengers for a sec. And that's okay, because look at what happened to Joe to Seeds, bro.
But what's a second, like, Ben? Because we talk about next year, and you're like, okay, what if they go get Scrap Hydra? When does Xnid fit back into the team?
He may come back into the team for major forward champs if they continue to struggle. Like, that's impossible to predict. They're not, bro. If they bench Xnid, they're going to build a challengers team around Xnid.
I agree with that.
They're going to do everything they can, give the guy years upon years upon years to like figure it out. I think my biggest concern with Falcons is just when I look at how these players piece together, especially because I think Xnid, I don't really know yet what his play style is. It's hard to see how the pieces fit together, because my biggest concern tactically with the team is that as talented as Cell is, MC has a very difficult time verbalizing if you listen to his comms, because I know they're spammy, but like if you actually pay attention to what he calls out, he has a hard time verbalizing exactly the play that he's trying to make on the map. And I've talked to him about it, and he's working hard to improve on that issue. Yeah,
brother.
But that is like that is his biggest communication issue.
Xnid's going to be able to understand MC?
It's gonna be tricky because I think they have other communication issues. I think Kiz's communication is pretty good, but I think AG also has issues where his communication kind of ebb and flows, and his playstyle is already a little bit baity. So like on the map, I worry that this team is gonna have a tough time communicating that things gonna be blocked or pushed out correctly, or just kind of small talking to each other compared to how I think like ATL is gonna figure it out, Thieves is gonna figure it out, even like LAG is gonna figure it out. I think the communication gap with this team is like not great. And I actually think that Xnid is maybe not even the worst offender on this team when it comes to that. It's the weird thing. They have a weird situation to figure out with the comms.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will, to be honest. In S&D, I think they'll be fine. In Search, this team should be good, by the way. FY, this Riyadh Falcons S&D team is going to be really hard to beat.
Man, Ben, I need you to keep yapping while I do something.
Yeah, you're good.
Sorry, guys. I'm all over the place today.
I'm not worried about Falcons in Search. We don't know what the third game mode is yet. I'm fucking praying to God it's uplink this year. By the way, if it's uplink, I am trying my hardest to run an uplink only tournament when the game comes out. But regardless on that, like, hardpoint just requires a lot of split-second decisions. It's not even just like pushing shit out. It's when you need to back up and fill gaps. And like, I am not sure if Falcons is going to be able to figure that out with the comp they have right now. And again, I think a lot of people are looking to say the Xnid's the first one rotated out, but the way that plays out, it may not necessarily be that. It might be one of the other two players. I think Cell's the only player that I think you have to drop a 0.7 than to bench him. They will be scrimming 8 hours a day for 2 months before the first CDL match. He's blowing the comms out of proportion. That's how I know you don't fucking pay attention, because there are plenty of teams that play the game for 8 hours a day for 2 months straight, and they're fucking dog shit on the map, and their communication sucks. So just that's how I know it's a horrific take on so many levels. Just because you play the game a bunch doesn't mean that their teamwork's going to be good. Let me see what people are saying in Zen chat while he's fucking doing this.
No, sorry. I was ordering cookies for my girlfriend.
W. I was just saying that someone was trying to argue that they'll figure out their comms just because they're scrimming. It's like, there are plenty of teams in the history of COD that scrim and they don't get better, bro. Or they scrim and they barely get better, and other teams blow by them and they just chase the pack and they can never figure it out.
The new Faze logo is dirt. Yeah, I have not seen many positive opinions about it. I have not seen much positivity around that logo, man. I mean, it's just so tough because the Riyadh Falcons rebrand is so clean and nice that like that rebrand comes out and everyone's like, holy shit, that's amazing. And then Faze's rebrand comes out and it's like, damn, that's not very great.
Well, the tough thing with the Faze one is that...
Wait, hold on. Someone just asked, Ben, what is the motive behind Faze rebranding to Vegas? I just think Vegas might be a better, bigger market than Atlanta, but you can go ahead, tell me. Like, I do think, like, for example, I think if Faze hosts tournaments in their home market of Vegas now, I think they're going to be better than Atlanta. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think there's a couple of reasons.
Actually, they didn't even want to throw Atlanta majors, I guess.
They threw that one Atlanta event.
Yeah, but that was like very beginning CDL.
And I wouldn't be surprised, by the way, on the Atlanta front if like that's an eventual DreamHack market, just because they already go there every year. Like we can have an Atlanta DreamHack event fairly easily because DreamHack already operates in that market virtually every year. Normally that event's in the fall, so I could see them just in the calendar. But,
so hold on, you commented this earlier. Do you think teams are going to start partnering with the DreamHack event, or is the DreamHack event going to be an Activision ran event like neutral?
I don't know. That's not a map thing because I don't know if that would make great. There's a lot of
wow. The manager's in here. My former GM of Boston, Dens, current what is it? VP of something with Listen, guys, Dens is like the man behind Riyadh Falcons Call of Duty, and I know he has that fucking company card. So let's see if he gifts the city.
We're the company card. Okay, I like that.
Come on, Denz. They're not going to see that shit leave. You know it.
But to finish the thoughts, then
It's a marketing expense. I'll gas you guys all year. Go ahead, Ben.
I think with Vegas, one, ownership there, the Hamiltons, I think operate out of Vegas, so there's that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Paul, I think lives in.
I didn't know
Paul
that.
lives, so I'm not gonna say, but like they're in Vegas. The second thing is, I think it's a way better market to your point of running events. And I think there's a lot more value to a franchise in Vegas than there is in Atlanta. Even though I think technically Atlanta is a bigger city. Is Atlanta population-wise probably a bigger city, right?
Guys, take a joke, man. I'm talking to my former GM. I basically lived with the guy for 2 years. Good Lord.
Well, actually, Vegas is a bigger city. I just looked it up. Vegas population is 678K, and Atlanta is like 570.
Well, and I could be wrong, but I feel like, bro, going to Vegas is just cheap. Like, I feel like flights to Vegas aren't crazy. Hotels aren't too crazy. Because, I mean, they try to get you with the gambling and the food and everything else that Vegas has to offer. But I do feel like Atlanta is also a hub where I feel like you can find a straight flight to Atlanta for basically anywhere.
Well, that's the Vegas finesse. Vegas is incentivized to work with the airlines to have prices reduced, hotels be cheap, just so you spend all your money on the fucking Vegas finesse, aka casinos, entertainment, food, etc. It's a better market, bro. Now, I also think the difficulty of having an esports team in Vegas is like the distractions of Vegas. You and I both know people that have played for teams that have lived in Vegas, and they have talked about how difficult it is to manage an esports schedule and not feel tempted that you want to go to the casino on weekends and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is a little bit tricky, but I think for AEV, and I assume they're going to rebrand, obviously, because it's Atlanta Esports Venture as well. Not going to be an ATL. I think it makes more.
Wait, do you know if they're going to be in Vegas? There's no way they're playing out of Vegas, right?
So the rumor is, and in the Ronnie article, he alluded to it, they're going to be playing out of the Games for office in Frisco.
Oh, so it's going to be the Faze offices in Frisco.
Yeah, I assume that's
so another Texas team.
Yeah, my guess if I were them.
At this point, bro, just do the LAN League in Texas. Like, there's like 8 teams there now. Who do you have?
We've
Optic Thieves, Faze, Rocker. I heard rumors that Vancouver is going to be remote this year. I heard rumors that Cloud9 is going to be remote this year. So like those 2 teams are probably going to be in Texas. The only teams that aren't in Texas as of right now is Ultra.
Yeah.
It was Faze, who's now going to be in Texas.
Boston,
Toronto, Boston.
And it was Vancouver last year, too.
Yeah, but now apparently they're going to be remote. So
it might be 2. I mean, we'll see what Boston does.
Crazy. I don't have it set up here, bro.
I mean, I'm going to be honest. As long as I'm going to say this. I'm going to continue to say this. As long as KOI is in the league, you're never going to get a Dallas like LAN league. Now, I had a very interesting conversation. And I'm curious your thoughts on this. At Champs, me and Aroma were talking with Adam Adamu on stream.
Yeah.
And Adam pitched a really interesting idea. I'm curious about your thoughts on this idea.
Go ahead.
Adam was like, what if for a LAN league, you had, instead of one location, because you can do it with remote production, you had like 3 locations. And it was kind of a little bit of a traveling show. So you had teams that would play matches in Dallas and play matches in Toronto, and play matches or wherever. So like,
why does that do a little bit? Who does that benefit besides Toronto? Because they want to be in Toronto for some of the matches.
Well, it benefit anyone that the market is the league is operating in that spot. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's more expensive for everybody, though. That's the issue. The good part about the LAN League, especially if it's in a place where 7 to 8 teams already are, is those 7 to 8 teams aren't really spending more money because they're already there. And then the other teams only have to worry about one location. Whereas,
what space are you doing in the LAN League?
I don't know. I'm not really. I don't know what space. I'm just talking location. The same thing can be said about what locations are. Okay, what locations are you going to use in Toronto, LA, Texas, wherever the 3 would be?
So Columbus is always going to be an option because EFG is based out of there, right?
They don't have a studio anymore. Not like a LAN League studio.
I think eventually they're going to move out of the fucking building they're in right now and get a better space.
Den said, everyone should come to Dallas for competitive integrity purposes, let alone the other benefits.
Yeah, because you get state income tax, like all this other shit. Like
the income tax, the price of living. I will say, Dallas is getting a lot more expensive Because years ago, Dallas was like, holy shit, so cheap. Now, with everyone moving to Dallas, Dallas prices are not as cheap as they were.
So Taylor in your chat said ESA. I need to be clear about ESA. ESA is owned by the city of Arlington. They can decide the programming in that building. Obviously, as you guys have seen with the recent controversy of the event that was ran there. I think that if you're running an esports league out of there, which is going to take a lot of dates off the board, and obviously if you're doing volume, Activision's going to get a good deal. I don't know if the city of Arlington is down for that.
Well, you don't really, honestly, you don't need that big of a space for a LAN league. Like if you think like the MLG Columbus studio we used to play in, I don't think it even needs to be that big. That was awesome, but let's not pretend the Columbus LAN League in World War II was a masterpiece, but it was what we needed. Wait, no, that was godlike.
It depends on what you want, though, right? It depends on what you want, though. Like, the old Columbus studio did not have space for an audience. Like, the revenue of getting gate in of tickets is like really, you could fit like 50 people in there.
I don't think the LAN League should have an audience unless it's like.
Yeah, but you need a revenue stream, no?
I just don't think you're going to sell tickets for like every single league day. I think maybe you have like certain days where it's just so going to happen. You're going to have Optic versus Faze and Thieves versus Ultra and whatever. And I think maybe you call those days something special. Like, I can't even think right now, but you know what I mean? Like a banger day where you sell tickets for. I don't think it makes sense to sell tickets when you're going to have 4 bottom teams playing. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what the old... Adam and I had this conversation a long time ago. I was like, bro, if the LAN League would ever come back, the best place to do the LAN League, regardless of market, right, is try to find a space on a college campus. Because are you telling me that bored fucking college students on a fucking Thursday or Friday, if they don't want to do their fucking homework or not going to want to go drink a beer and go watch some fucking gaming and esports on campus? Like,
I don't think so,
think
dude.
You would actually you would actually get like guaranteed gate on shit like that.
I don't think so.
People say what in the chat, but like
I don't think so.
You'd be surprised. It's actually like
those kids want to go to frat parties and have sex, Ben.
Some kids want to go to frat parties and have sex.
They want to have sex.
But like you would be surprised if you talk to universities how many of them are like low key actually down for that idea, and they actually would like get people gate in. Like it's and by the way, it's
but
before
Ben,
the parties,
I think a LAN league
went from 5 to 8. You know, it's not running until 11 p.m.
I think a LAN league on a college campus, it would just get old, right? Like you would have some people that go in the beginning, and then like how many regular season LAN league matches are you going to attend?
But you use it as so if you're a university, I'm not far enough to hear this. Is a university use it as a catalyst for a major that you're building in the gaming industry? Because it's actually really big for people in that major because you're going to have constant people to the industry going to that space. And assuming you have that kind of world-class space, you're not just going to run COD. You're going to run other events. You're going to run other esports. So other people from the industry, leaders, CEOs, tournament organizers, teams, players, influencers are all going to come through this campus. And it's like actually low-key a kind of big draw for a university. Just think,
maybe,
like honestly,
okay, then do
bullshit.
It. Like, then do it at SMU or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Adam and I talked about this, and I don't think it would ever get anywhere because I think it's difficult for a university to figure a lot of the particulars, the logistics out from not just a LAN league standpoint, but also like normal college fucking academic BS. But like it actually makes a lot of sense. I just want to come back full circle though. Is because EFG is such a huge piece of the function of the CDL, I do not see EFG going out of their way to get a space in Dallas right now to run a LAN league in
Dallas. said League of Legends is struggling with audience retention with their studio, unsure if audience is needed at current moment.
But the difference then between this and Riot is that the most likely operator of a LAN league in the CDL is going to be EFG, and EFG would program with not just COD. Like if EFG is going to make that kind of capital investment into a space, because I'll tell you, like taking a blank box, like a random warehouse, you have to build out the warehouse, right? So you've got to put in electronic infrastructure, a grid, probably HVAC, bathrooms. You know what I'm saying? Like the capital build out of that. Like in order to return your costs, like you're not just going to program just CDL events. You're going to want to probably fill that space 1/3, 2/3, half the time with events. Like in order to actually get a return on that space. Like the problem that Riot has is they play that space and the only stuff in it is BCT and LTA North.
Okay,
now.
me and you disagree on this. I think a LAN league would be good for like a more polished product, a more professional product. I think the viewers would get a better show. I don't think the audience is the revenue stream you're looking for. I think your goal is to display a premium product, and ideally, and I know people don't like the exclusive rights, those deals bring big money, right? Like I know people are like, I hate the fact that we were just on YouTube or whatever the case is. Those deals pay, and I think that's kind of the goal for the revenue is to sell the LAN league to Twitch or YouTube or whatever it may be. Because I don't think the revenue you're going to make from the ticket sales.
Media rights deal. The media rights thing is not for the foreseeable future. Is not a realistic revenue path at the moment. At a time it was, not anymore. I think the revenue path is Activision would not burden the cost of building a studio. They already did it once, not going to do it again. It hasn't worked out for Riot.
That's why I don't think a LAN league is going to happen, Ben, is because it used to be an MLG expense, and now it would rely on the teams. And especially in this day and age, I think 5 years ago, you would have been able to convince these teams to do a LAN league because they were all spending.
Look what I'm poking you.
If you brought a potential LAN league structure to these owners now, I think they're saying no. They don't want to spend more money to help operate and fly their players around and house their players. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
That just popped up on my stream.
Oh.
Oh, shit.
You're good.
Oh, shit. Ben, don't poke me anything.
W leaks.
Ben, don't poke me anything.
But like either way, I don't see Activision doing it. And I think if it's going to happen, I think it's EFG building out a space, and that way that they can program it with more than just a CDL, because Activision's not going to want to do anything about it. And like, they're not going to be willing and not able to program the studio out for 200 days out of a calendar year. That's the things in. It's like, if you're going to actually operate a space like that, that's the problem Riot has. It's like, you can't operate a space and you have 80 studio days. Yeah. You're not making money off the space. You got to the old studio, I'll give Activision credit, like the old MLG studio, bro, when they were not doing COD, they were doing Halo. When they're not doing Halo, they were doing Gears. When they were not doing Gears, they were doing Warcraft. Like, they actually probably had like 180.
Were this the MLG studio?
Question. Yeah, the old MLG studio probably had like
here's my question, though. There wasn't an audience there, Ben. How are they making money? Because you keep saying audience, like, we didn't have an audience for the World War II LAN League, or we had like a couple days where there was an audience for like playoffs or whatever, but we never had an audience. So what was the revenue model there?
What, the old MLG studio?
Yeah.
I think they are good. I would have to ask Adam, but I get, my guess is Citygate was probably not that expensive to lease. Activision probably took a burden on the capital invested in building that space, or what was probably more what happened is that the old MLG entity before the old MLG entity before they were bought, the assets of the company were bought by Activision, may have spent the capital cost on building that space. And then subsequently, once they were under Activision, they were just operating the space.
I just think
like, they was paying the lease.
I just think like
the build
nowadays,
out of that space, they probably front loaded.
I just think like nowadays with like the ping tools and all the stuff that like kind of helps online level of play, which didn't exist back then, is like enough reason for them to justify not spending any of this money on operating a LAN league. They can say, well, this is the fairest online Call of Duty's ever been. Back when there was a LAN league, you know, there weren't any of these. Let me see.
Yeah, no, but yeah, I just think also things were way cheaper back then. Like operating a studio, Hotel T&E was like a fraction of what it is now.
Hold on.
So like, I just think it was cheaper then. I still think that there's a weird opening right now in North America because there's no one really running like a massive esports studio right now. EFG had one, they got out. Esports Engine kind of had a space in LA. I don't know what's going on with that Burbank space. They've laid everybody off in Burbank. So I don't know if they've just gotten rid of the lease on that space. There are a couple of smaller studios. There's that Playa Vista one I went to for the Quezon Invitational. But like they're not really getting bigger business. So like there is kind of an opening for someone to offer like an actual like mixed use esports space in North America. Just nobody's really doing it. You know, and anyone that is doing it is like a Riot situation where it's just for their stuff.
Oh, sorry. Bless me. Oh, man. It might be Elden Ring time, Ben.
Yeah?
It might be time for you to become the Elden Lord.
How far are you in?
I've defeated 3 bosses.
That's pretty good. I mean, how many hours have you put in?
I don't know how many hours. I have like over 300 deaths already. But hours, if I had to guess, I'm probably at like 10 to 12 hours. I would say 10 hours. Right? Is that fair? 10 hours?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're making some good progress. You trying to finish it like before you go next? Is that what you're trying to do?
Well, the issue is I can't be as loud in Dallas, so I might need to finish it off at the hex quarters.
Why can't you be? Oh, you're gonna get noise complaints.
Yeah, because it gets bad. Like when I start getting like this game makes me. Oh man,
It's a rager for sure.
It makes my blood boil.
It's a fucking rager for sure.
So I'm not sure if I can play it in my apartment without like getting kicked out. But yeah, Ben, I'm gonna actually transition over to Elden Ring. But I had an awesome time.
You know,
I had an awesome time yapping with you.
It's always a pleasure, Zane. You know, we always gotta go fucking yapping.
What's your